There's something unmistakable about the opening guitar riff of Dire Straits' Money for Nothing. It's not just iconic, it's mysterious. That snarly, phasey, slightly nasal tone feels like it came from another dimension, not just another amplifier. But the real story behind that sound? It's a masterclass in how sometimes the most legendary things in music happen by complete accident. In 1985, Dire Straits were recording their album Brother in Arms at the AIR Studios in Montserrat, a lush Caribbean hideaway built by Beatles producer George Martin. At the controls was Neil Dorfsman, the engineer behind records for artists like Sting and Bruce Springsteen, and a longtime collaborator with frontman Mark Knopfler. Late one night, they set out to chase a tone, something thick and rich like Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top, whose sound they admired but didn't know how to replicate. The setup was relatively straightforward. Knopfler was in the control room, his signal running through a Laney combo amp in the live room. They tried out a few guitars before landing on a Gibson Les Paul Jr. The amp was mic'd up with a Shure SM57, nothing unusual there, but one odd twist was that Knopfler was playing through a Morley wah pedal that was stuck in the half-pressed position. The filtering effect that came from adjusting the pedal just right was subtle, but it added a unique mid-range focus to the guitar's sound. Still, nothing they captured that night stood out as extraordinary. They stopped the session and decided to pick it up the next day. That's when the real accident happened. When Dorfsman walked into the studio to check the gear the following morning, he noticed that the SM57 microphone on the amp had slipped from its mount and was now pointing straight down at the floor, about 4 inches from the speaker. As he moved in to correct it, the talkback mic in the control room blared, "Don't touch anything, come in and hear this." What they heard was magic. That odd mic placement, completely unintentional, had captured something that none of them could have predicted. The amp sounded boxy, mid-heavy, with a strange nasal quality that somehow cut through the mix in a way that was unforgettable. It was raw, imperfect, and weirdly human. It became the guitar tone on Money for Nothing. And here's the kicker, they could never recreate it. Despite meticulous notes, diagrams, and session settings, when they tried to replicate that sound weeks later in a New York studio for a solo overdub, they got something entirely different. The magic was gone, the moment had passed. Knopfler once recounted that Chet Atkins told him, "Whenever I'm making a record and make a mistake, I leave it in. And after a while, it starts to sound pretty good." That ethos seemed to apply perfectly here. The tone wasn't born from a schematic or expensive plugin. It was born from a mic that fell, a wah pedal left ajar, and the instinct to hit record anyway. In the end, the Money for Nothing tone wasn't just iconic. It is among one of the greatest and most recognized guitar tones in music history. And it was a happy accident that ended up shaping rock history.